Have you heard about the Google grant and want to know more about it, or have you looked into it and gotten stuck? I've helped over 200 churches apply for, obtain, and run their Google grant account. Today, we're going to talk through the easiest methods on how to set up your Google grant account for success. It's going to be a simple process. We are going to walk through a lot of stuff step by step. So if you've already gotten a Google for Nonprofit account, if you have already received your ad grant account, we are at this step. Hey guys, my name is Megan. I am with ReachRight. We help churches and nonprofits with their digital marketing, with local SEO, Google grant management, and website design, and a lot more. Today, we're going to be talking about getting started with a Google grant. If you are a nonprofit organization who is in the beginning phases and maybe you're stuck, maybe you're not really sure what to do next, hop on with me and I am going to walk you through the basic steps on how to get this Google grant going. We are in this specific account. This is a church in the Tennessee area. They were just approved for the Google grant. So this is what their account looks like. We literally just got in here. Nothing has been set up. So we are starting from scratch. The church's website is here. This is Oasis Church in Tennessee. So we're going to be starting a brand new campaign. When we think of campaigns, we're going to think of the overarching umbrella of how to set up this account. So the campaign is going to have where we set up the budget, where we target a location, and then ad groups are within the campaign. So let's start walking through that. So with this new campaign, we are just going to be targeting locally in their area. With a Google grant account, you are limited to, your goal should be website traffic. If you're running paid ads, you can do sales, leads, awareness, etc. But for your Google grant, you are limited to website traffic, which is what we want. We are wanting to bring traffic into our website for people that have never heard about us, don't know where we are, don't even know we exist. We are only allowed to use the Google search network. So that's here, that's already checked. There's no other options. We're going to copy in our website right there, and then we're going to hit continue. Now it's going to walk through our conversion goals. Google, with your grant, you are required to have conversion goals. This is a way that Google can track what are your target, what are you trying to track from people clicking onto your ads, onto your website. So for this one, these are going to be pretty generic. This is not through Google Analytics or anything. This is strictly right now just through Google Ads. Page view is what the option is. So this is saying a page view of anyone who clicks on the /about page. So right now we're going to roll with that and just say that's great. This is your campaign name. You obviously can name it whatever you want. Again, this is organizational. So if you're targeting a certain thing, you might name this your broad campaign, your local campaign. We are going to turn on enhanced conversions, so we're just agreeing to that. Bidding for your Google grant should be maximized conversions. If you don't have a way to track conversions initially, you don't have Google Analytics, none of the page conversions are going to be good for you. You can switch to clicks. Clicks means that we're just trying to drive as many clicks as possible, whereas conversions, if conversions is trackable, you do need to have conversions so that Google will approve everything that's going on and still carry your ads and give good visibility. Because our goal is conversions, we're going to leave it at that. We are not bidding for new customers only, so we're not going to check that box, and we're going to click next. You'll see here that you aren't even able to click the Google Search Network or the Google Display Network. That is because we're strictly in a grant account. If you are in a paid ads account, you can click either one of these. Display Network works kind of differently, so because that's not available, we're going to skip on down. All right, now location targeting. This is where we have options. So we are going to be doing a local campaign first. So we're going to start with that. If we wanted to do statewide, if we wanted to do regional, as you can see, you can do the entire United States. We can do the entire United States and Canada, or we can even do the entire world or pick certain countries. For this specific campaign, like I said, we're going to go local. So we're going to click advanced search so that we can do a radius around our target city. All right, so we are going to include this location, and then it's going to highlight where that location is. This is super helpful because if you were to look here and say, okay, well, I want to make sure I grab this other city near me, or we need to make a larger radius, this is a good visual to say, okay, do I have all of the targeted areas I want? Now for this one, we're also going to go to a 35-mile radius around this church. Okay, so now I'm actually including Nashville. I'm including some of the larger cities that we want to grab. All right, so this specific client wanted to exclude certain zip codes that are way too far or not reachable from their area. They live near a lake and they're people that just, it's not physically possible to get to their church. So we've excluded those specific postal codes that they gave us. We're gonna keep scrolling on down. All right, so broad match keywords. We want to, I wanna leave these off. Now you might want to just use broad match keywords for your entire campaign. If you don't have a lot of knowledge on keyword types or aren't too comfortable with keyword matching, you'll want to leave those on and just do broad match. But because there are several ad groups that down the road we are going to want to use phrase match or exact match, I'm going to leave that off because I'm going to want it to do what I'm asking it to do. All right, Google does have a cool AI feature now. So you put in your website, it actually can write some AI descriptions of your organization, what you do, what your target audience should be from what it picks up on your website content. Obviously, I'm not gonna use that. We want to write our own ads and be as specific as we want to be. So I'm gonna skip this, but you obviously can give that a try and see how good AI is for your ad groups. All right, so here's where we're gonna make our first ad group. Now we are gonna start with just a church general ad group. This is gonna be for find a church near me, some pretty generic keywords. I am going to name this ad group what ads I'm targeting so that down the road, when I see how they perform, I'm gonna be able to look and say, okay, these were from the church general ad group, or these were from the children's ministry ad group, and so on. The ad group name is really just your overarch. It's gonna just, like I said, clue you into which ads are performing, and it'll also generate which keywords do we have underneath that. All right, so I am pretty much just copying and pasting keywords that we want to use in this account. Feel free to use whatever keywords that you wanna target. Remember, keywords are what actually trigger Google's ad to show. So if I am searching for a church near me, or Christian church in my area, church in my zip code, church services on Sunday, whatever I'm typing into Google is how Google's matching up what ads or what organic search results they're going to show you. So we want to add as many keywords as we can so that Google can trigger these ads to show as often as possible. After you choose all of your keywords that you want to use, you can just scroll on down, and now we're actually creating the ad. So here's all, it shows you the keywords up here that you've put in. It's going to generate some headlines automatically to try to help you out. Sometimes they make sense, sometimes they don't. So feel free to add in whatever headlines you want. You are restricted to 30 characters, so you've got to be a little picky with what you want. Now, the headlines, it'll show you right here what those are going to look like. So obviously you want to choose good headlines that are going to attract the target audience that you're wanting to reach, that make sense, that look good, that would grab somebody's attention. Now, the goal while you're making these, you will see that the ad strength should be getting stronger. If you need some help, you can use these ideas over here. For some organizations and businesses, this is going to be helpful. For others, it's not going to be. But when it talks about using popular keywords, you can see here's all the keywords that you've added into your account. And of course, the more that you use the own keywords that you put in, the better. If you scroll down, some of these will give you ideas as far as unique headlines. So attention grabbing headlines, right? Order online, sign up today, award-winning service, anything again that's attention grabbing, location near you, open 24 hours, whatever that looks like. Fill in as many headlines as you can. The goal is to get this from poor to good, all the way to excellent if we can. All right, so as you can see, we've gotten our ad strength up to excellent with just our headlines, so that's great. I still have room for another one if I want to add one. Now, descriptions are also important. As you can see back on this ad example, here are the headlines, and the more headlines you add, the more variations Google has to create an ad for you. So it's going to try to target, if a certain specific person is Googling something, it's going to try to read what ad is going to perform better by the headline combinations that it makes. So again, you can see here, a life-giving church, a Christian church, Sunday church services, seeking a new church. It's going to jumble all of these up and make its own combos by using 2 or 3 of those headlines put together. And then in our description, it's doing the same thing. So again, the more words we use, the better descriptions that we have, the better chances that these ads are going to create sticky people. Site links are a way to take people to different spots on your website. So most traffic goes to your homepage. That's where all the generic search traffic is going to go. But if someone clicks on site links, we can send them directly to maybe a kids page, a plan your visit page, any highlighted page that we want to point out for more information or further information. It looks like this. So if they click on the headlines, they're going to go to your homepage or wherever your URL is for that specific ad. But if they click on a site link, they're going to be sent to those inside pages. So now I'm going to build those out. We're going to pick 4 pages on the website that we'd like to send people to. Descriptions are going to be recommended, although I say they're required because it's really what's behind the click, and then we're going to paste in the URL. So let's go do that. Now there is one catch with your Google Grant. Any traffic that is sent to or from an ad to your website has to go to your domain first. You are not allowed to send off to any third-party website, so keep that in mind. Sometimes some of our pages just kick over directly to our YouTube channel, our social media accounts, or if you use like a CRM, like, you know, for a church like Planning Center, any ad or link from an ad has to go directly to your domain. So no linking off to any third party. So keep that in mind as you create these site links and callouts. All right, so I have my 4 site links ready. I'm going to create those. So it's going to save those, and now you'll see them popped out down here. Again, you can add more, but Google is going to just kind of mix these up based on what that person was intending to find. All right, call outs are also something additional. It's gonna go here after your description. So there are 4 ways to, again, say more about your church, say more about your organization and your nonprofit, what you guys are doing. Another way to just grab attention. Again, for our clients, I'm just pulling content directly from their website. Usually that's going to be like their core values or their mission, something that just kind of makes sense to explain a little bit more about who they are and what they're trying to accomplish. So again, you can have more than 4. 4 is your minimum. It's just going to add these at the end of your descriptions. We're gonna apply those. Now, the more assets you have in your account, the stronger your ad, okay? You're just giving as much information as possible so that we're not potentially getting traffic that would say, oh, I didn't really know that's what I didn't mean to click that, or I didn't really know what I was looking for. This lays it all out. Again, the more you add, the better. So for instance, for here, if you do have a phone number and you don't mind getting phone calls from ads for people just saying, hey, I want more information, or I'd like to know about your services, you can add a phone number. So this is called a call extension. If you have a phone number to add for a call extension, you would do that here and just hit save and apply. That's going to add it at the bottom so that somebody can literally, if they're on their mobile device, they would be able to just click it right from there. Structured snippets are also another way to, again, add more information. So I like to add the structured snippets to our ads. Again, it's after the headlines, after the descriptions. It's just kind of giving a value. So you have to select your header type. Now there are all of these options. For some organizations, some of these don't really make sense because it's gonna say, okay, you have amenities, but it's gonna give you some examples here. Do you have Wi-Fi, a pool, a fitness center? Now, because we're dealing with a church for this instance, I usually will put amenities, but I also put some things that make sense. If you do have a lead form, like an actual form that somebody could fill out on your site, you can add a lead form as an extension. That is actually going to stick a form here where somebody literally could put in their name, email address, phone number, whatever information you want to get from them. Those are kind of nice if you are wanting information from people. You know, if you want a lead, slap that in there. If you have an app, you can add your apps in here. So you would literally go here, you could add in your Android store link and your Apple store link as well. It's going to just populate those, the app links within your ads. As many assets as you can get, the better. So the more you have, again, the stronger your ads are going to be. So fill that up with what you can, and then we're going to click done. All right, now it's kind of doing a review on all of the keywords. Here's the one ad that we made. If you need to edit that before we publish, it's gonna give you the option to here. I'm going to hit next because we're ready to go ahead and publish that. All right, this is where you set your budget. Now, if you're using a Google Grant account, your budget is $329 per day per account. So this is gonna be our one main campaign that we're using. So we're going to use the whole budget right here in this campaign. If you have multiple campaigns, you would want to split the budget either in half or based on, do we want more ads going to this campaign versus the other? We're not going to get into that today, but because this is just one campaign that we're using, we're going to set the entire budget for that one. So because we have keywords of a Christian church and Bible-based Christian church, we are going to need to ask for an exception. It's going to take us back to our budget where that's still the same. Now it's checking for errors and we can publish our first ad group. All right. Whenever you do make new Google ads, these are going to go under review for about 24 hours. Sometimes it can be a lot less, but they do go under review. Google's making sure that everything that we've set up is proper. That we're not breaking any of their rules and regulations. Because measuring conversions was our goal in the account, it is going to ask you to either add a Google tag to your website or install Google Analytics. So if you don't have either of those, you are going to be taken to the next step to get that going. So because this website, it's just saying here is a Google tracking ID that's going to track that conversions of the about page view. If you remember that we set that up in the very beginning, this is going to add that tracker automatically. So for this client, I can copy this and send that to them in an email to say, let's get that up on your website. If you are your own web manager and this was a valid conversion for you, you would go ahead and install this tracker as well. Now, Google Tag Manager and Google Analytics are great tools. You really should have those on your website anyway. It's like Big Brother for your site. You want to know what pages people are looking at, how long people are staying on your website, where is your traffic coming from? It'll give you your traffic sources, such as are they direct links to your website? Or are they organic searches? Were they from Google Ads? Are they social media referrals? There are a lot of avenues to where people find you online, and Google Analytics is a great tool for you guys to do that. I have another video where I talked about Google Analytics and getting that set up. So if you're interested in learning more about that, we can put a link to that in the comments. So if I were to go ahead and click this and add this to my website, you can test the connection here. I'm not doing that now, so I'm going to skip it. It's gonna say you don't have it. I'm gonna say, I'll do it later. And it's gonna say, are you sure? And I'm gonna say, I'll do it later. So when we start up a new account, so we have our one campaign and we have our one ad group. Now we're gonna be adding more ad groups in the same campaign. So the reason you would wanna use the same campaign, again, is if we're targeting the same location, we are using the same budget. If you want to target something else, if we're saying we wanna go national or we wanna go to another state, you're gonna have to make a whole new campaign, okay? But since we're using all of the same settings, I'm just gonna add multiple ad groups again into this campaign. You have the campaign and then you have ad groups underneath. Ad groups are just organized based on your keywords. So you're pretty much, like I said, you're gonna name your ad groups what's easy for you to find what you made ads for later. So I have my church general ad group. Now I'm going to make an event ad group. So this is gonna be just for events. Again, I have keywords that we're going to pop in here that I've used that we want to use in this account as well. So I am just going to copy and paste those here. We are gonna save and continue, and then it's gonna walk us through the same ad. If this client had an events page or a calendar page, I would send the traffic there. You would just do either /events, whatever their page is called. Now it's gonna keep the exact same ad that we had before. It literally just made a copy of it. It's gonna tell you it's poor now because it's a copy of your same thing, and we're using completely different keywords. So because this ad is doing something different, I'm gonna change several of these to now use the keywords that I've added into this batch. It is always best to physically use the keywords that you've put in. You're going to get a much higher ranking ad than not doing that. And you'll see, so I'm still poor and I really need to get that up. So I'm going to add as many keywords as I can here. Doing keyword research is super important, right? You've got to figure out what are people searching for. You've got to have enough keywords in an ad group to actually trigger ads. If you've got 1 to 5 keywords in an ad group, it's probably not going to do the best, or at least you might know this may not be a top performing ad group. The more keywords you have, the larger volume that we can get traffic going that way. I'm going to save this. Now my ad strength is poor, but after it actually reads the ad, it's going to bump that up on its own. All right, so now I have 2 ad groups under my umbrella. So remember, my campaign is called Reach Right. My 2 ad groups are events and church general, and I'm going to add 1 more ad group. Remember in the beginning when I talked to you, when I mentioned that I was going to add phrase match and exact match keywords, this is the ad group that I do that in. So if that's not something that you want to do or that applies to you, you can totally just skip this. And like I said, continue to use your broad match keywords. But we are adding in some exact match keywords, which literally means somebody's got to type in my whole phrase for it to trigger an ad rather than just a piece or portion of that keyword. This ad group, as I just said, the more keywords you have, the better. This ad group is actually going to be a pretty small one, and I'm totally okay with that because I'm really just separating these keywords for a specific reason. We just want them to be organized a little bit different. All right, so here's our ad again. Now I'm gonna take this away because this is not going to the events page. We're gonna actually send all this traffic back to the home page. So I am okay using this same ad that I did in my first ad group. And I'm leaving all the assets the same. So I am just going to save and continue. Again, I know that says that it was poor, but because I know that it's still under review and that's going to change once we start generating stuff, I'm okay to leave that. Now you'll see that the branded and events are eligible. These are still under review. Eventually, whenever we start getting clicks, whenever you start seeing some traffic, we will then be able to go to our overview and we will start seeing some action. It's gonna start showing us what keywords were pinged, which ones actually created an account, what was my most viewed ad. Now again, it'll also show you where it pinged as far as where my impressions picked up, what locations did were targeted. So it'll show you right here, we're targeting these areas, we're excluding those zip codes that we wanted to exclude. So right now there's nothing to look at because everything is under review. So we're gonna check back on this tomorrow and see if we've had any impressions and clicks. All right, so I hope this was super helpful. I know there is a lot of steps. There are a lot of things to figure out whenever you are initially getting into a Google Grant account. But this was just kind of the basic startup to kind of get you going. Obviously, if you get stuck, if you get in there and you're like, I have no clue what to do, take a look at our website. We would love to answer any questions for y'all. Feel free to ask any questions in the comments. If you would like us to answer any of those, we would be more than happy to. If you are wondering if you are eligible for the Google Grant for your organization, your nonprofit, we will put that link in the comments. Feel free to, we have a lead form on our website. It asks you some 3 basic questions that will give you the answer if you are eligible right off the bat. If you are, it'll kind of walk you through some steps on what you can do. We've made other videos in the past on next steps. So if you're thinking that you want to try to do this on your own, go for it. You can apply for a Google for Nonprofit account. I have another video where we've talked about that and I walk you through the steps there. You can apply for your Google for Nonprofit account. Once you get that, you can then move on to the step to apply for the Google Grant. Again, I think a lot of people kind of start out that way and they'll get in there and say, I wanna walk through this and try it. Feel free to do that. We're trying to make this as easy as possible, but we know it is very time consuming. Like I said, we help over 200 churches a month with their Google Ads account to maximize that grant as much as we can to get them as much website traffic, and hopefully that website traffic turns into something tangible for that organization, whether that is online donations, more visitors, more website leads, contact forms, whatever that looks like for you. That can be something tracked from your Google Ads account. Google is super generous and wants to help you guys get some visibility, and we also want to be a part of that process for you.